Today on Judge Alex. When Larry's girlfriend kicked him out, Carrie took him in.
He emailed me and he begged me not to ignore him.
She kicked him out in the middle of
She
nowhere.
kicked him out again.
But now that Larry's got his girl back, he wants his things back too.
He kept my possessions after we agreed I would no longer pay him rent.
Well, the agreement was his stuff would stay at the house.
Today, Judge Alex doesn't mince words.
Understand what I'm saying now.
I do.
No, now understand what I'm saying. You have zero credibility.
Okay.
Because every time you open your mouth, I have to contradict you with the last time you opened your mouth.
As a cop, he stood up for the law. As a trial lawyer, he fought for the truth. And as a criminal court judge, he commanded authority. Now he returns to preside over America's courtroom. Real cases, real people, real judge. Judge Alex. Larry Schnellman is suing his former landlord, Carrie McCabe, for $10,000 in personal property that he claims Carrie sold without his permission. He's brought his girlfriend, Marjorie Gilland, to court today. But Carrie is countersuing Larry for $3,793 in unpaid rent, storage fees, and dog sitting fees. He's brought his boyfriend, Lufti Dejani, to court today.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Alex Ferrer presiding.
All right, thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Schnellman, you're suing Mr. McCabe, your former landlord, because you say that when you moved out, he kept all your property.
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. McCabe, you say that you were right to keep his property because he owes you a lot of money for rent and other things. In fact, you're counterclaiming for rent and for dog sitting and all kinds of other charges, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Schnellman, how did this start?
Judge, in November of 2011, Margie, this is Margie,
Hi, Margie. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good.
asked me to leave her home. So I went online.
Margie asked you to leave her home?
Yes.
Well, what is the relationship between you and Margie?
Margie's my girlfriend.
Okay. Well, why'd you ask him to leave your home?
He has a problem of drinking a little bit, and when he excessively drinks, it upsets me when he doesn't do things. So
Doesn't do things like what? Doesn't pay the bills or?
Doesn't take the trash out. Well, he doesn't do anything except drink. He doesn't cook. He doesn't do anything. Otherwise, he cooks, he cleans,
So
he
when
does
he's
it
drinking,
all.
he's basically useless.
When he's drinking, he is.
Yeah. And this is the woman you decided to bring as your witness to court. It's a good call on your part. So she kicks you out of her house.
Right.
Okay. And what happens?
And so I went online to look for a place to live. And in my situation, I was hoping to find a roommate. And I found Carrie had advertised a room for rent in his home for $500 a month plus half the utilities.
Okay, so tell me about when you first meet Mr. Schnellman.
When he answered my ad online, then we started going back and forth, and finally he came over to look at the house. Okay, and we talked, and he moved his stuff in.
Sorry, who are you, sir?
That was the first time.
Who are you?
His partner.
You're his,
Your Honor.
you're his new partner?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is your name?
Lutfi
Your last name?
Dejani.
Dejani. Okay, Mr. Dejani. All right. So were you living there at the time that Mr. Schnellman came to live there?
No.
Okay. So you meet Mr. Schnellman. You tell him it's $500 a month.
And he told me he'd get the rent as soon as he could.
Okay.
I paid him the rent, and I asked for a lease. He told me that friends don't sign leases.
Friends? You guys were friends?
Well,
You know each other for like
yeah.
7 minutes?
yeah.
So there's no written lease here?
No, it's all verbal.
All right, but both of you agree on the terms. You're going to live there, you're going to pay $500 a month, you're going to split the utilities. We're in agreement.
Right.
That's
Okay,
correct.
so what happens after you move in?
Well, 3 weeks later, I reconciled with Margie, and she came and she said, load your stuff up, the stuff that I had there, and she was gracious enough to allow me back to take out the trash and live with her.
Or not take out the trash?
Or not take out the trash.
Yes, sir.
He did not live there for 3 weeks in the first time.
No, he'd lived there for 3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
So he moved in with you, and 3 days later he moved out?
3 days later, he...
Yes, sir.
That's a good deal for you. You got a month's rent for 3 days?
No, I didn't have a month's rent at that time. I only had $300 deposit.
Okay, so he hadn't paid the first month?
Yeah, he hadn't
Okay.
paid the first month yet.
So when's your next dealing with Mr. Schnellman? Because this isn't about your first month, apparently.
The next dealing was the end of January when he emailed me and he begged me not to ignore him. So we eventually talked, and he needed to move out of where he was at because it was not a good neighborhood.
He was stuck. He was stuck in a place out of nowhere, and
I thought he was living with Margie.
she kicked him out in the middle of
She kicked him
nowhere.
out again.
All right, so tell me about the kicking you out again.
Okay, in January, she asked me to leave again.
Your reconciliation
Did not.
lasted until you opened the next beer?
No,
30th?
it lasted until I bought the second 30-pack.
Now you're back together.
Oh, definitely.
How long have you been back together now?
A year.
A year? This is like a
No.
record for you guys.
We've
Since Mayor June. Yes.
Your Honor,
Your
he
Honor.
was there in the house on the 24th of August. The night I flew in, we came late at night, and he came to the house to drop the dog because he had a date.
Coming up, will Larry soon be looking for a place to live again?
He always begged to come back to the house because he needed the house for some online things going on, people coming in the house.
Margie, did you have any knowledge of any of this?
And later, Judge Alex has had his fill of Carrie's boyfriend, Lufti.
Mr. Dejani, you
I was there.
you
with
have
the
a
dog.
supporting role here.
I was there
He's
with
the
the-
lead.
The dog attacked me.
I can start to see why. On Twitter, follow me at Judge Alex Ferrer and follow the show at Judge Alex TV and use the hashtag Judge Alex. See you there.
Judge Alex is back with a case of Larry Schnellman, who's suing his former landlord, Carrie McCabe, for $10,000 in personal property that he claims Carrie sold without his permission. He's brought his girlfriend, Marjorie Gilland, to court today. But Carrie is countersuing Larry for $3,793 in unpaid rent, storage fees, and dog sitting fees. He's brought his boyfriend, Lufti Dejani, to court today.
3 days later, he moves out.
Moves out.
3 weeks later, he calls you because he's living in some not so good area
Right.
because he's been kicked out again and wants to move in again.
Right.
So does he move in again?
Yeah, he moves in again.
Does he pay rent?
He paid his rent for the first 2 months, rent and
Okay.
utilities. He was
All right.
there
So how long does he live with you? From January to when?
till about May.
Okay. So the end of January, February, March, and all of April, he's there.
Right.
And is he there consistently?
No, he was
Or are
out-
they ping-ponging back and forth?
Yeah, he was going to the farm and back.
The farm.
He
You have a
always
farm?
begged- He always
Okay.
begged to go back. He always begged to come back to the house because he needed the house, and also for some online things going on, people coming in the house.
So you're saying he would go back with Margie, and then even when he was away from the house because he'd reconciled with Margie, he would come back to your house
On weekends.
and he was still paying rent, but he was away with her, and
Well,
he
he
would
was
come
still
back
owing
and
rent.
surf the internet to meet other people,
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was
and
there.
then he'd invite those people to your house,
Yes.
like some kind of booty cave.
Well, he told me.
Margie, did you have any knowledge of any of this?
No, sir, I didn't.
Is it true?
No.
It's in the emails.
It's true.
My point is that I am suing Carrie because he kept my possessions after we agreed I would no longer pay him rent.
Well, let's get through that part, because apparently he's there for several months, according to you, up and through April,
Right.
even though you say he's ping-ponging back and forth between Margie's farm and your house. So he moves out at the end of April. You have that conversation. It's now May.
Okay.
What happens after May?
Well, the agreement was his stuff would stay at the house.
Was he supposed to pay you storage?
Storage, yeah.
Okay, all right. So now,
we talked about the storage. And,
so how much was he supposed to pay you in storage?
well, I called several places, and the lowest I could get was $100.
Was he supposed to keep your stuff there?
He told me when I left that I was welcome to
He's
come
got
back
the
at any
emails.
time, that he was willing to watch my dog for me on
So there's
any given weekend.
dog sitting charges as well.
Right.
Honor.
That's where but he
Yeah.
never said that I was to pay him, or did we have any agreement that I was going to pay him for keeping my stuff in storage at his home.
And on the dog, Judge, He did not ever say there was a charge for the dog because
Yes, I did. I sure did.
Is
on
any of
that.
this documented? Any
Yes.
emails, text messages, anything?
Yes, you have the text.
Oh, the pack you sent
have
up
the
is all of them?
emails,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay. Email between the two of you. You don't have to put your stuff in storage and risk damage or theft. It's safer here and cheaper. Besides, you will still need a place to crash if and when she boots you, and you probably couldn't find a better spot than this. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Coming up, does Larry find himself in a hairy situation?
He never said a word to me
About what?
about dog sitting fees.
Will you doggy sit a big, black, mean, blank dog this weekend? You've never discussed dog sitting? It's time for America to vote on today's case. Who do you think I'm going to rule for? The plaintiff or the defendant? Call toll-free 1-800-282-2333 to vote now and find out how the rest of America votes. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
If you would like to comment on this case, join the conversation at facebook.com/JudgeAlexTV and check us out at judgealex.com. Judge Alex is back with a case of Larry Schnellman, who's suing his former landlord, Carrie McCabe, for $10,000 in personal property that he claims Carrie sold without his permission. He's brought his girlfriend, Marjorie Gilland, to court today. But Carrie is countersuing Larry for $3,793 in unpaid rent, storage fees, and dog-sitting fees. He's brought his boyfriend, Lufti Dejani, to court today.
Okay, so apparently there is a discussion about paying storage, but you say there wasn't. What was your expectation? According to you, you went back to get your property, according to the complaint, in October.
Right.
Was it your expectation that this guy, who you just know for a few months, was going to let you store all your property in his house rent-free, storage-free from May, June, July, August, September, and October? A half a year.
No, he sold my stuff.
What did he sell?
My television set that I know of.
No, Your Honor, I have photos here of,
You have photos of a TV.
and his stuff in the barn.
Let me put these pictures up on the screen here, yeah. He said he has a camera and lens, a flat screen TV, a dining room set, a stereo receiver, a barbecue, and a heater.
Right.
You have all that.
I have all that.
Think hard,
Yes,
because
it's
it
all
could
there.
cost you if you tell me you do and then you don't have them.
No, I have.
Anything there get misplaced, lost, or sold?
Nope.
During that time, is there any rent, discussion of rent, anything like that?
No, he comes and
Just-
leaves right away.
Just from me saying, you got any money this week?
Because he hasn't been paying you storage, and
Right.
according to you, he hasn't been paying you dog sitting fees either.
Right.
Okay. How many days did you dog sit for him?
Plenty, I believe.
Okay.
What do you mean?
What
do you mean?
Mr. Dejani, you
I was there.
you
with
have
the
a
dog.
supporting role here.
I was there
He's
with
the
the-
lead.
The dog attacked me. The dog attacked me.
I can start to see why.
I-
You are taking over the landlord's case here. He's the landlord.
But
Why don't you sit down, and when I need you, I'll Skype with you.
yes,
Okay? Just have a seat right there.
Okay.
Okay. So he moves out, and you start dog sitting at what rate?
$20 a night is the going rate.
$20 a night. Okay.
He never said a word to me
About what?
about dog sitting fees or dog
Yeah,
boarding
that's in the
fees.
You never
emails
said a
too,
word.
Your Honor.
Okay.
Until.
Your
Here,
Honor.
let me look at the email
Okay.
that you passed up here. Okay. From you.
Right.
Will you doggy sit a big, black, mean, blank dog this weekend? How about $10 a night with food and a $20 bath? You've never discussed dog sitting?
That was the first time we discussed it.
Didn't you just say a second ago we never discussed dog sitting?
I wanted to say until I received that email.
Until this email. Okay. You just didn't say it quick enough.
Yeah.
You also claim he owes you storage. You say it was $100 to store the property. And what do you say, Mr. Schnellman? There was no discussion about storage fees either?
There wasn't until I found out that he sold my television.
And then what was the discussion at that point?
That he sold my television because I wasn't paying him these storage fees that we had never previously discussed.
Did you ever agree to storage fees?
No.
I mentioned to Kerry that I needed to find a place to store all my belongings, and Kerry suggested I keep my things at his place. He even said for me to throw a $60 a month his way when I could for storage. Now do you remember talking to him about a rate for storage, $60?
The first time I heard about storage
No,
fees.
no. Answer my question. Now do you remember, since it's in your complaint, those weren't my words, that's your words. Since it's in your complaint that you discussed $60 a month for storage, do you now remember that you discussed $60 a month for storage?
Coming up, Larry's bad memory is trying Judge Alex's patience.
I initially had the dispute with Gary.
Which part
over my
of did
time.
he ever mention didn't you grasp? It's time for America to vote on today's case. Who do you think I'm going to rule for? The plaintiff or the defendant? Call toll-free 1-800-282-2333 to vote now and find out how the rest of America votes. You'll also receive some valuable offers.
Judge Alex is back with a case of Larry Schnellman, who's suing his former landlord, Carrie McCabe, for $10,000 in personal property that he claims Carrie sold without his permission. He's brought his girlfriend, Marjorie Gilland, to court today. But Carrie is countersuing Larry for $3,793 in unpaid rent, storage fees, and dog-sitting fees. He's brought his boyfriend, Lufti Dejani, to court today.
He said to throw him $60 a month for storage.
Why, a few minutes ago, I'm sure you can remember that far back, did I ask you, did he ever mention you paying for storage? No. Did he ever mention an amount for storage? No. Why do I have to refresh your recollection about everything that's happened in your life?
Because I was of the understanding that you were speaking of the time period before I initially had the dispute with Gary.
Which part
over my
of did
time.
he ever mention didn't you grasp?
I understand what you're saying now. I didn't understand.
Understand what I'm saying now.
I do.
No. Now
Now.
understand what I'm saying. You have zero credibility.
Okay.
Because every time you open your mouth, I have to contradict you with the last time you opened your mouth. Your claim is that you have $10,000 worth of property at his house.
That's correct.
10,000.
Yes,
Correct.
if not more.
The guy who
No,
got
he
kicked
doesn't.
out of Margie's farm, it sounds like a book. The guy who got kicked out of Margie's farm and had to go live in a seedy, according to you, part of Texas, has $10,000 worth of belongings at his house.
Your Honor,
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Do you have receipts, pictures, anything to show
Yes.
me all this valuable property?
Yes.
Let me see what it is. And what is a blood machine? You claim you left your blood machine there.
I have a mechanical heart valve,
Uh-huh.
and I have to check what they call the international normalized ratio of my blood, so my blood doesn't clot.
How often?
Once a week at least.
Once a week. And this blood machine that keeps you alive
No.
has been in storage at his
No,
place.
it's a testing
It's a
device.
testing
Yeah, I know,
device.
but if you get a blood clot in your
He goes to the
mechanical,
hospital.
It tests to see how fast my blood clots.
so you've got this machine that you need. It's critical for you to test weekly to make sure that you're not getting blood clots where you shouldn't get blood clots. You're supposed to do this weekly, and you end up leaving it at his house in what? What month?
What month did you
I
do
was
that?
thinking it was like July or August.
Okay,
because
July or August.
In August, I was trying to get in touch with him by telephone, which I could not.
That's not true. I'm looking at your emails. You're chatting on email, okay? All right, so here we are. $400 in the dog sitting charges, $400 in the storage fees. And by the way, as a landlord in Texas, you can keep people's property as security for back rent that they haven't paid you. But if you don't have a written lease, you can't sell it. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have 400, that's 800, and then we have the rent, which you say 200 or 300, and since you don't know it's going to be 2, that's $1,000. I'm entering a judgment in your favor for $1,000 against him. Now I'm holding the judgment, and I'm not going to issue it until you've got a week. You get back there, you go get your property. In 1 week, you better have all your property. If you don't go get it, okay, because you go on a bender or you run off with girlfriend number 4, he's not going to have to hold it any longer than that, okay? Good luck, Margie.
All right.
Judge Alex has ruled in favor of the defendant for $1,000, pending he returns the plaintiff's property within 1 week.
I'm not happy with the judge's verdict because although he awarded my possessions back to me, I've got no way of knowing if my possessions are safe, if they still exist, or even if they're still there.
Yeah, as far as the property is concerned, he can come get it. I don't want any of it. I have too much.